Rock Hotel. Is everyone going?
Well, I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
So the conference was divided into two.
Okay.
Some members went to Volta's Ho yesterday. Last weekend. And the second batch that couldn't make it to Volta's Ho will be going to Rock City this weekend. It's all in connection with our new standing orders. Is to take members through the standing orders so that we can all familiarize ourselves with it. But I have other equally, important assignments out of Accra, out of the Eastern region. And perhaps today I will make a decision on where I'll be.
I see.
Because last weekend I had to be in the constituency too for other equally important engagements.
Great. Okay, so first of all, and from listening to you, you seem to want some clarity on what was happening with the leadership of the majority. First, what is happening? What are you picking up is really the cause of everything that's happening in Parliament?
There's a proverb in the Gbani that that is to wit that the hyena does not laugh at the young hyena does not laugh at the mother's teeth, because when it grows, it will also develop the same teeth. You realize that last year around the same time, members of the NPP and especially the majority members in Parliament had a cause to poke jokes at the minority when we were faced with the decision to reshuffle our leadership in Parliament. Now, I have always said that principles are principles. They don't change. But unfortunately, pushing them can be motivated by different interests. And so I am excited that hardly do I get proven wrong when I stand by a principle. With time, even when it is unpopular, with time, people get to perhaps accept that principle, but may use different motives to push that principle. And you recall that in the change that the NDC undertook, some of the issues some of us raised had to do with the role of the caucus in the choice of a leader. It had nothing to do with old or new leadership, loyalties to old or new, but because of the heat of the moment, people missed the essence of the issues that we raised, and it was convoluted and misinterpreted. But fortunately, if you listen to the first deputy speaker, when he led a disgruntled group to make the point that they were comfortable with Osei Mensah Bonsu, he made a very profound argument. And his argument was that all wings of the various political parties choose their leaders. So the youth wing of the NDC and the MP choose their leaders. The women wing choose their leaders. And Nombo wing, they choose their leaders. But when it comes to the parliamentary wing, the practice has been that the party chooses leaders for them. In both cases, without even consulting them. I thought that was wrong. I still believe it is wrong. I think that it must be a decision, taken by the party, but in very, very serious consultation with the caucus. The party can establish guidelines and, go through the guidelines with the caucus. That will enable a that to emerge when there's the need to choose one. So I was particularly happy when the first deputy speaker espoused this principle that, underpins the issues that some of us raised the same time last year, even though the point was missed. But I was also, it wasn't lost on me that in their case, it seemed to me that the principle, though right, was being pushed with an ethnic agenda, which seems very unfortunate to me. Because sometimes when people speak, pay attention to what they don't say. Because that tends to be louder and that tends to be more explanatory. And I observed that this was all a fight for, an Ashanti stake in the party, the parliamentary caucus. And that's where I disagree with them, even though they were pushing the correct principle. But the motive that was used to push that principle was flawed. Because we are in parliament and we hear their conversation. And the protest was mainly based on the fact that they felt that the Ashanti region over the years in this NPP government have not treated well. And leading members of the party in the Ashanti region, one time or the other, have been maltreated or mistreated. In fact, you have even heard some of their supporters complain that when it comes to the distribution of the national cake, the Ashanti region is not favored. So that was what underpinned this protest that they mounted.
Oh, so it was ethnic.
It was ethnic. And I thought, one, that was dangerous. And then, secondly, that was unfair to Afenyo Markins, who is from the central region, representing a constituency, the central region, and also with some Vulture background. I thought it was unfair. And also unfair because he's not just representing a region that also contributes significantly to the victory of the NPP, but he's also one who has paid his dues. He has also, made immense sacrifices for the NPP, especially when it comes to his parliamentary duties. I mean, in opposition, he was one of the people who championed their, fight against the NDC. And in government, he has been a force to reckon with, especially when it comes to the government pushing through unpopular policies. I mean, when it becomes very difficult for them to have anyone on their side defend the matter, you can bet that Afenyo Martin will be on his feet and engage in theatrical sometimes and illogicality sometimes. He's a very good friend, but sometimes he just engages in all manner of antics to filibuster and just, make a bad situation, tolerable. And so his contribution to the progress of their caucus cannot be discounted. And so if such a person is to be promoted to be a leader and he's opposed on the basis of ethnicity and what have you, I thought that was unfair to him. But all in all, I will say that the lesson in this for every politician is to learn when to bow, when to walk away. And it reminds me of, no, it's not Don Williams. What's the name of the other country?
Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers' song, The Gambler. You need to know when to walk away. And I feel very sad that after such an illustrious parliamentary, history, Osei Mensah Bonsu is bowing out in the way that he's bowing out.
He seems to have made the decision himself, because for the rest of us outside, what we know is that he could have stayed on, stuck to his position. Is that not the impression you're getting? Is he being pushed out? Because we hear that he's voluntarily resigned.
Well, the belated decision to voluntarily bow out was just meant to prevent what could have turned even nastier. And I was making the point that I am sad that, his constituents first rejected him. You recall how, they pelted sachet water at him sometime last year or 2 years ago, which also, I believe, influenced his decision not to go for the primaries again because of his growing unpopularity in the constituency. And one would have thought that he would have had a smooth, exit as majority leader and minister of government business. But unfortunately, that was not also to be. Like he himself has stated, according to the letter that you have shared, there's a storm. And just like there was a storm in his constituency, which he decided not to be the eye of, he, in this particular case, has decided to jump from the ship before it capsized. So clearly, for a man that has had such an illustrious parliamentary service to his party and the country, I feel a little bit disappointed that his exit is not that glorious. Today he is second to Honorable Speaker Alban Bagbin in terms of the MP who has served the longest. And if you compare Bagbin's glorious exit to what he is going through, you can only but feel sorry for him. But I think that he should have perhaps jumped much more earlier in an elegant manner, instead of allowing the storm to get to a point where it became very obvious for all of us to know that he is leaving because of the storm that was going to make his exit even more nastier. I think that Afenyo Markins will be a good leader, especially because the party is preparing itself for opposition. It is clear. It's written on the wall, inshallah, that they are going.
He'll be a fantastic minority.
He'll be a fantastic
minority leader.
I think so. And so I think that this will be a very good grooming ground, for him to lead the caucus into opposition. Because,
Is it because of his Hatchet approach to things? Because
absolutely,
you were basically describing a Hatchet man when we were describing him.
Absolutely. That's why I said that when things are so bad and it's difficult to get anybody on their side to hold the fort, he has always sacrificed himself for that job, And so in opposition, you will need someone who will not be afraid to get dirty and, dirty the government, the ruling government, and punch holes and hit at anything that is moving, that intends to make the government popular. So he will make a fantastic minority leader, and I think that introducing him now to warm up and groom himself for that job as minority leader could in the long run serve their interests better.
I see. Let me then conclude by asking you, was Osei Mensah Bonsu a great majority leader for the MPP, especially in this second term where they were struggling for numbers? Did he do what you think should have been done when the need arises? Because there have been complaints that his consensus building approach was terrible, that sometimes he tried to bully things through when he should have been talking to the other side, among others. But for you in Parliament, you see things differently. Was he a great leader?
Well, he had his weaknesses. And one of it is what you just pointed to, the fact that he became combative unnecessarily sometimes, where reasoning and collaboration and discussion could resolve issues. He sometimes sought to prove needless points, generating unnecessary rancor. That you can cite as one of the weaknesses he may have had as the majority leader. But one thing that goes to his credit is how thorough he was. I mean, and how seriously he took his work. I mean, it was almost like, I don't want to, I don't think it would be a lie to say that in most cases he was the last person or last MP to leave Parliament, and perhaps the first to always come. I mean, and sometimes he was, you can also say that he's always the last person or even the first person to suggest an amendment, even if it is the crossing of a T or a dotting of an I, because he took time to go through the legislative, work. So when it comes to legislation in the House, you cannot discount his contribution to helping the House pass very good legislations, because he took that work seriously, and I think that is to his credit. But he also had his weakness. So I'll say he was a very good leader. I don't know about great, but I think he was a good leader.
Honorable, thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
Honorable Alhassan Suhuyini is Member of Parliament for Tamale North, sharing insights from the House. Very interesting. He says it's about the opposition you saw led by Osei. What they had on the floor was more about the fact that they feel that the Ashantis were suffering. It was like as if they feel that they were being handed a wrong deal, those of them from Ashanti region. And that was what was accounting for the treatment that Osei Mensah was getting. Because as we speak now, in Parliament, initially the announcement was that Napo was going to be running it. Now the thing is,
because research kakra say meeting na course wo Jubilee House no omo wanka saubra and the Apiakubi.
Yes.
Wanko bio meeting wanko. And Samuel Hatchet so meeting on so wanko bi.
Okay.
Joe Wise is meeting.
He was not there. Hatchet seems to have broken ranks with his family. because sometimes when you listen to him, you are wondering where he stands now. So he was not at the meeting.
They were not at the meeting. And almost say on health grounds, so no meeting. And it wasn't true.
It's not true.
Training at the same time.
Joseph was arguing with Bagwin on the floor. That day, Speaker Bagwin on the floor. That day, even I heard Honorable Hatchet. I heard him. And the PAP has been angry since he went to pay that from primaries money. The team paid him. Since then, he's been paid. So that's why he said he won't even contest in the next election again. So he doesn't care.
Because next time we'll be team assign you to that same assembly kind of Eddie against.
No, but he says he won't go. He won't go. So if he tries to go, they will tell him.
And I don't know the amount try cross over because of what Obe says Casa and Graumini. Say Mensah Bonsu. Aside Enyema Bimono, he is one of the Nipebia Omo Parliament, Omo Bojuma. But he entered Parliament with the president.
Yes, 1997.
When the president called Parliament.
Yes.
So it tells you say Ojuma no Onimu. So now then President A Ku.
Oh, why would you say the president?
Sena,
where is the coup matter?
Oh, cool now. Why?
But very interesting. In fact, yesterday I think I wanted to watch that show, but I was not able to. In fact, this morning, Kobna Spinter sends a message.
Okay.
And his comment is simple. The comment that he shared with me because he watched it.
And right time no call Parliament in Anna.
Oh, no.
Anna meeting.
No, I'm actually talking about a show that was done by Kevin Taylor yesterday. And he watched it, and he is saying, Sena, after Kevin Taylor's expose yesterday night, Afenyo Markins' elevations marks of proverbial Chinese promotion. He will be doing the Hatchet job to the extreme, the one of Kyei Mensah will not do.
Oh, okay.
Alex is now caught between the rock and a hard place, a one-way ticket to do or not to do. The Ghana Legal Council is the leverage. Don't ask me how. So I think he had a couple of things to say. And clearly. But even without any prompting, I realized that he likes the Hatchet job.
Alexander,
where everything is failing, he still has hope.
Kwamina.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic.
Kwamina.
Oh, he does a fantastic Hatchet job.
Kwamina.
Yeah, fantastic Hatchet job. Hey, he's a very fantastic Hatchet job. Because to even what he tried with the anti-LGBTQI matter, I was taken aback for a moment. But that's how he is. At the last minute when things seem to be failing, that's when he turns up. Sometimes makes some argument where we'll be asking, what is this guy trying to achieve? But he's never deterred. Yes, he is the never perturbed Hatchet man. He will push. So him, I think he may be good for the last few months of the government. There are possibilities. There are many possibilities. You know, some people believe that for as long as they have the opportunity. But I'm not saying that that's what happened. The suggestion is being made. But I think that for President Akufo-Addo and the way he sees things and where they are now and the kind of approach they believe they need to use to stay in power, they will prefer Afenyo Markins to Osei.
Okay.
Yeah. They believe that at this point, one, they are losing the popular vote. Now, the popular vote, they are losing it. So they need different approaches. So in parliament, you need Hatchet. We need to have somebody who is ready to be the Hatchet man. I'll say Mensah, but his English alone will tell you that he won't do it. He won't do it.
He will do why be? Say 11 years they are doing now.
No. Even the E-levy thing. See, for example, there are rare circumstances where even the rallying didn't come from the front bench.
Okay.
I think in the matter of, was it the E-levy or one of the budgets when they were staging a walkout? Remember the first time they staged a walkout on a budget? He wasn't the one who said they should go. It started from the back. So he's a man who setting principles about how things should work in parliament. So there are things that you ask him to do, he will not do. Yes, he will not do. He is not a fantastic leader for me. I've always said that he doesn't build consensus well. He comes across as someone who thinks that the best ideas are the ones that come.
Now, Sena, if he doesn't build consensus well, Kwame now on Robert might build consensus here.
No, is it Kwame is one of those who can go into closed door meetings and come out with fruitful deliberations.
Okay.
So please go ahead.
I
haven't said anything.
I was here. Radio Good 90.5 FM. GMC. A good morning conversation. On Comotri, you know. Yeah, trim Como said you will fear pepe. I and dinner Edian Airstrom, Cono the Edian to and Crawfordia, why Edian Airstrom Cocra. And 70 days, so per se or tea and some. A man who ziginu zagam now what tea 70 year and empire to the biada. I will say what Fidiano, a cost na at that Radio Good 90.5 FM. Now, and come on, you know, if a year or say Mensah Bonsu, nay, say a honorable majority leader and crata or their common 24 say a Jumano, why ye be a ye, and to one town cry MOB and yen say, and ye or say Mensah Bonsu, ye you if you hope. Na ye do be for fraba there be on trawan yansha haisa we di onwa eden enkrata common 24 amoma kan we catch 24 ne Ghana de MPP amanyo ko ne ma na face no mo mo mra se bedwa fie nyina se wonno